Good evening, this is All India Radio Kohima. I'm Navin Pradhan with the evening news, and first here are the headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to flag off world's longest river cruise MV Ganga Vilas in Uttar Pradesh on 13th January. Union Minister for Information and Broadcasting, Sports and Youth Affairs Anurag Thakur invites overseas Indian youth to innovate and invest in India. MLA and former NLA Speaker Dr. Imtiwapang Aier laid to rest, accorded with state funeral, and China lifts quarantine requirements for inbound travellers. Now the news in detail. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will flag off the world's longest river cruise MV Ganga Vilas from Varanasi in Uttar Pradesh on 13th January. The luxury cruise will cover a distance of more than 3,200 kilometers across 27 river systems in 5 states in India and Bangladesh. The MV Ganga Vilas cruise is curated to bring out the best of the country to be showcased to the world. The 51 days cruise is planned with visits to 50 tourist spots including World Heritage Sites, national parks, river ghats and major cities like Patna in Bihar, Sahibganj in Jharkhand, Kolkata in West Bengal, Dhaka in Bangladesh and Guwahati in Assam. The ship is equipped with pollution-free mechanisms and noise control technologies. Union Minister for Ports, Shipping and Waterways, Sarvananda Sonowal has said that the huge untapped potential of river cruise is set to get unlocked with the launch of this service. The minister said river tourism circuits will be developed and integrated with the existing tourism circuits for maximum exposure and rapid development of this sector. Union Minister for Information and Broadcasting, Sports and Youth Affairs Anurag Thakur has invited the overseas Indian youth to innovate and invest in India, saying that there is immense investment potential in India. Addressing the Pravasi Bharatiya Divas Youth Conference on the first day of the Pravasi Bharatiya Divas Convention in Indore, Thakur said that there are new areas for investment in the field of space and drones. The 3-day Pravasi Bharatiya Divas Convention began in Indore, Madhya Pradesh from today. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will formally inaugurate the convention tomorrow. Referring to the time of corona infection, Thakur said that we did not depend on the world during the time of disaster. India not only administered more than 200 crore vaccine doses, but also gave vaccines to more than 100 countries. He further added that the countries of the world could not even imagine what India has done. Referring to the progress of the Indian economy, the Union Minister said that we have moved ahead by leaving behind the economy of nation who ruled us for over 200 years. MLA and former NLA Speaker Dr. Imtiwapang Aier, who passed away yesterday, was accorded with a state funeral today with a gun salute by Nagaland police. Dr. Imtiwapang's mortal remains were kept at the Heritage Old DC Bungalow, Officers Hill, Kohima, and paid homage to him before being taken to his native village, Sungratse, Mokokchung district, for last rites and burial. UDA Chairman T.R. Ziliang, while giving the eulogy, described Aier as a person of few words and a man who stood by his words. He expressed that the Nagaland Legislative Assembly was fortunate to have a member in the person of Dr. Imtiwapang who did his job brilliantly. This very act reminds me of his selflessness and inclination in sacrificing for common welfare, the UDA chairman said. While paying tributes to the mortal remains, Ziliang said the untimely demise is an irreparable loss to the bereaved families, our community and Naga society as a whole. Speaker NLA Sharingan Longkumar called the gathering to cherish the life of the colleague and remember him through memories and deeds he left with everyone. Longkumar also conveyed condolences to his wife Kihungle and children and prayed for strength and peace during the hour of grief. Minister Planning and Coordination Niba Kronu and RD Minister Metsuwa Jamir also delivered eulogies. China has lifted quarantine requirements for inbound travelers from today, ending almost 3 years of self-imposed isolation even as the country battles a surge in COVID-19 cases. From today onwards, inbound travelers to China will no longer be required to quarantine. Beijing last month began a dramatic dismantling of a hardline virus strategy that had enforced mandatory quarantine and grueling lockdowns. The containment policy has tanked China's economy and sparked nationwide protests. You are listening to the news from All India Radio, Kohima. You can also listen to this news bulletin on News on Air app and YouTube channel AIR News, Kohima. Senior BJP leader and former governor of West Bengal, Keshri Nath Tripathi, passed away this morning. He was 88. Tripathi breathed his last at his residence in Prayagraj, Uttar Pradesh. His last rites will be performed in Prayagraj this evening. Vice President Jagdeep Dhankar in a message said that Tripathi will always be remembered for his erudition, exemplifying the highest degree of commitment and dedication to public service. Prime Minister Narendra Modi expressed grief over the demise of the leader. The Prime Minister said that Tripathi was respected for his service and intellect. Modi also remembered Tripathi's hard work in building BJP in Uttar Pradesh and in the state's progress. Over 220 crores, 13 lakh COVID vaccine doses have been administered so far under nationwide vaccination drive. A total of 58,938 doses were administered in the last 24 hours. India's active caseload currently stands at 2,423. The recovery rate is currently at 98.8%. 247 recoveries in the last 24 hours have increased total recoveries reached to over 4 crore 41 lakh. A total of 163 new cases were recorded in the last 24 hours. As part of the combined annual training camp for NCC cadets at Fazl Ali College, Mokokchung, a demonstration cum training was organized by Nagaland Fire and Emergency Services today. Sub-Inspector Mayang acquainted the trainees with different types of fire and equipment used for putting off fire, which include fire extinguisher, sand, water and sealing hooks. The trainer explained common causes of domestic fire like cooking gas cylinder leakage, electrical short circuit and fires caused by smoking of meat. He also displayed method of putting off gas cylinder fire using plastic buckets. Other demonstrations were practice of handling high-pressure water jet, methods of rescue and first aid and fireman's lift. The Khelo India Senior Women National Kho-Kho League is set to take place at Chandigarh University, Punjab from January 10th to January 13th. The league is being organized by the Kho-Kho Federation of India and will be held over 3 phases with full financial support from the Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sports. A total of 12 teams and close to 200 players are slated to participate. The Kho-Kho Women's League for junior and sub-junior age groups is scheduled from January 16th to 19th at the Albata Ekka Kho-Kho Stadium in Hotwar, Ranchi. The Khelo India Women's Leagues, which are being held across multiple sports since 2021, is an initiative taken by the Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sports to develop the overall sports ecosystem of the country. Two-time champion Naomi Osaka has withdrawn from this year's Australian Open just 8 days before the start of the tournament. Osaka, a winner in Melbourne in 2019 and 2021, has not played on the WTA Tour since September and has slipped to 42 in the world rankings. A number of star names, including 42-year-old 7-time Grand Slam champion Venus Williams and Spain's world number 1 Carlos Alcaraz, 19, have already withdrawn from the tournament, which begins on 16th January in Melbourne. And to end the news, a reminder of the headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to flag off world's longest river cruise MV Ganga Vilas in Uttar Pradesh on 13th January. Union Minister for Information and Broadcasting, Sports and Youth Affairs Anurag Thakur invites overseas Indian youth to innovate and invest in India. MLA and former NLA Speaker Dr. Imtiwapang Aier laid to rest, accorded with state funeral, and China lifts quarantine requirements for inbound travellers. And that's all the news we have for you this evening. Good night.